So this video is the Advanced Admin Study Group, and it's from the 17th, so I'm a little slow getting it up there. And we covered the topics of data management and content management. So if you're studying for the advanced admin certifications, I hope you're finding these videos helpful. Please subscribe to the channel, and all of these videos are in the playlist as we continue to go through this series. Thanks for watching. All right, good morning, everyone. This is the Advanced Admin Study Group. Today we are hitting two topics. We're finishing up the data management topic, and we are starting and finishing the content management topic today. And with that, I will turn it over to Tanner to let you kick us off with data management. Screen 3.
Can everyone see my screen?
Looks good.
All right. So I had the last part of data management, and that was the enriching and archiving subtopic. So enriching data refers to using tools to add, correct, or update data to ensure it is as complete and accurate as possible. Enriched data can really help supercharge marketing and sales efforts, allowing those users to really prioritize or personalize their approach based on relevant, up-to-date data. So there's a couple ways that you can enrich your data. One's Lightning data, which is through the App Exchange, and also enabling social accounts, contacts, and leads. So here's the Lightning data section of the App Exchange. I wasn't sure if that was like a marketing term for data providers on the App Exchange, Lightning data. Does that sound sort of accurate? Or if there's different data providers that you can get that aren't considered Lightning data?
I don't know the answer to that.
Don't know. It seemed like it was a marketing theme, but
it looked like a theme.
Yeah. So
yeah, and you never know. Tomorrow it probably will be different. So
true. So Lightning data packages can be installed from the App Exchange to keep data current and help find prospects. Lightning data can be used to enrich account, contact, and lead records with multiple data sets. Depending on the data service provider, updates to certain fields can be completed automatically according to a defined frequency. Multiple data service providers can be active and used to enrich data. So here's some examples of when you might want to use Lightning data to enrich your environment. So industry-specific data, geography, geocodes, like longitude, latitude kind of data points. And then firmographic data, which I thought was pretty interesting, like trying to link up your accounts to firmographic data. So you can get the data on that account as far as like how many employees they have, where they're located, what industry the account's in, all that great data to just bolster your knowledge about that account. So with the Lightning data packages, they come with data integration rules. So basically in setup, you can use the quick find box to find data integration rules. And the main tip, I guess, when going through this is that to take a look at the update all records checkbox. So it's automatically selected here. I might go just so you guys can see this. Data integration rules. So there's this update all records checkbox. So they recommend to not have it checked when you start off, to do some tests to see if it's performing how you expect it. And then when you're ready to go back in and select that box. When you do select that box, when you first activate the rule, it runs on all records. And after the rule is activated, it runs on records that are added or edited. It also runs on all records periodically at the frequency determined by the data service provider, unless it's a geocode rule. In the data integration rules too, is that you can edit the field mappings. So you tell what fields are mapping over, and then you can select whether you keep the data or if it automatically overwrites the data in your instance. Next would be the social accounts, contacts, and leads. So linking a record to a social network profile allows viewing the available information related to the record on the social network. Salesforce data related to linked records can be enriched by using information from social networks. So in the Lightning experience, you can only use the social network Twitter, where in Classic you can use Twitter and YouTube. Permission needed to be able to do this is read and edit on accounts, contacts, and leads. However, users can link it to Twitter profiles if they have a sharing rule that gives them read-write access to the record. So I was just going to show this one, but since we had a superstar in the group get retweeted here, I wanted to come out and show that. Oh, he's making an appearance. Looks like it's bottle time. So here's the news tab. So here's where you can link it. And then once you link it, you can just be able to access that Twitter account right there. There you go. So that's how that works. Archiving data. So that's the process of moving data to a long-term retention for future use. So a couple reasons why you'd want to do it is compliance and data storage limitations that we have in Salesforce. So we need to manage that to make sure we don't cap that out. Some data in Salesforce is automatically archived, but still counts towards your storage space, but is hidden from users. So those are events that were due more than 365 days ago, closed tasks due more than 365 days ago, and closed tasks created more than 365 days ago. So they are auto-archived, but they still count towards your storage. Data archiving options, you can go out and of course use the App Exchange. You could use Data Loader, or you could use the data export in setup. So the data export and setup can be automated to back up Salesforce data on a weekly or monthly basis. Weekly is only available if you have the Enterprise, Performance, or Unlimited editions. There is an export now if you didn't want to wait for it to schedule. And then options are available to include images, documents, and attachments, as well as Salesforce files and Salesforce CRM content document versions. So I just went out there in a Scratchory and tried this out. So this is kind of what it looks like. Schedule export, and then you can have your options to include those images or documents or attachments, your frequency, weekly or monthly, and then if you want to export all your data, or if you want to pick and choose what objects get exported. And then once mine was completed, I got an email, and I went back to the data export section setup, and I could see my file to download, and my file had a bunch of CSVs for the different objects with my records. Data loader. So data loader can be used to export data from Salesforce, a Salesforce object. There is an export all option, allows exporting even archived activity records and soft deleted records. Soft deleted meaning they've been deleted, but they're still in your recycling bin. You can choose to update an existing CSV file, or a new one can be created. Attachments cannot be exported using data loader. However, attachments can be exported using the dataloader.io tool, which is web-based, which I didn't even know existed.
Very good.
Pretty cool. All right, pop quiz. What are some considerations of using Lightning data to enrich data? Choose two. Anyone want to take a shot at one?
George, I'll go with A, lead account and contact records can be enriched.
That is correct. Number two would be C, data updates can be completed automatically with that overwrite. Number two, at what frequencies can you export data automatically through the data export option Salesforce setup with Salesforce Unlimited Edition?
This is George again. You could do weekly or monthly with the unlimited.
George is on fire. All right, and that concludes my presentation with my sources.
So Tanner, on the data extract, jump back to that question if you don't mind, real quick. Is this option available in other editions, or is it just the unlimited?
No, just the weekly option is. I'm not saying it's just in the unlimited edition. I'm saying if you have the unlimited edition, to be specific.
Yeah, no, and I'm not arguing the question as much as just asking are there additions that the data extract isn't available to us, or is that additions? And that's for anybody. I'm just posing that.
I did not see that it wasn't available for an edition.
I was thinking that it's available in all of them too. I just wanted to see if there was group consensus on that. Okay, evidently none of us know. So, all right, fair enough. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just said I wasn't sure either.
Okay. I think that it is. I was trying to think last time I was in a professional edition, and I'm never in the essentials, but it seems like we can extract data there as well. But, okay, cool. Any other questions on this set of topics? Content, I'm sorry, not content, data management. Oh, we are very quiet today. All right. All right, so I've got the next video then is, or the next presentation is from George, and he pre-recorded this primarily because in order to give you a decent demonstration of it, there's some delays that's just easier if he felt if we did a video for it instead. So we're going to give this a shot, and you might have to click on my image in order to make it full screen for you, because it's possible Zoom may try to redirect you to other people's faces, which makes the image then a little bit smaller. So Tanner, if you don't mind stopping your share, and then I will go ahead and get us going on the video. Afterwards, you're free to ask questions. George will take those questions at the end as well. So
Still sharing, Tanner.
so let's see if I can kill it too if you can't. Oops, I just killed your video and not your screen share. Ha. Stop sharing. There it is. All right, cool. All right, let's give this a shot, and hopefully this will work out, and if not, we'll figure something out. All right, so.
Today's topic, content management, covers 3% of the advanced admin certification exam. But rather than walk you through with static slides, I'm going to demo the capabilities you need to cover. Here's the use case. Oops. Actually, it's a story of two consulting partners, Get Cloudy Consulting and Home Team Consulting, collaborating on two projects. One, George is the Get Cloudy lead for marketing cloud implementation, working with Terry, Home Team Consulting. The other, Carla, working on the health cloud implementation, but also collaborating with Terry from Home Team Consulting. Now, earlier today, Terry sent separate emails to George and Carla requesting documents about the projects that they're working on. These documents are stored in GetCloudy.org, specifically in a library called projects::current. This library uses folders, one for each partner. And permissions in the library, George is the library administrator, Carla is the viewer. As you know, the permissions that you have in a library transcend the entire library. Whether or not you divide it into folders or subfolders, in all cases for this library, George is the administrator, Carla is the viewer. You can give users different permissions in different libraries, of course. Also, you need to know that Get Cloudy Consulting does not use Experience Cloud. This is a limited number of Salesforce CRM content user feature licenses. George has one. Carla did, but due to a recent round of budget cuts, Carla currently does not have this feature license. So in this use case, we have George with a Salesforce license, system administrator profile, with the Salesforce CRM content user feature license, and access as a library administrator. Shouldn't have any problems to send a document to Terry. And you have Carla, the platform license, with a custom platform user profile, no Salesforce CRM user license, and viewer. Let's see what this is going to look like. Demo time. First, let me walk you through the Get Cloudy Consulting org to show you the two documents Terry requested with a guided tour of Salesforce files and Lightning along the way. You can see them in Files, Libraries. Let's start at the top with the Asset Library. In Classic, this is a tab termed Documents. Documents tab in Classic is for images. Think logos or images for Visualforce pages. In Lightning, the Documents tab is the Asset Library. I want you to notice that if I try to sort the library names, even though active accounts comes before Asset Library in alphabetical order, Asset Library will always be on top. Again, it's reserved for images, such as the Get Cloudy Consulting logo. Traffic light, the project management tab. The library we're looking for is Projects Current, where George is the library administrator. So you can manage members, edit library details, or delete the library entirely. Managing members, you got George as the library administrator, Carla is the viewer, the ability to add either public groups or people, set permission to library administrator, which is your super user, author. You can add content to the library, viewer, think read only, but you still have the ability to share depending on settings. Let's look at Carla's library, where George is an author, but not the library manager. Notice I can't manage members. We go into the library, do have the ability to add files. We go back to Libraries, Projects Current. Notice we have the folders. Permissions will be the same across all of the folders. Here is the document that Terry asked George for. Here is the document that Terry asked Carla for. Let's open up the Wayback Golf Course project. And for sharing, notice that you have the ability to prevent others from sharing or unsharing. Again, a lot of features to control access. Let's send this document to Terry. To send the email to Terry, we go to Contacts, Terry, Email, enter a subject, since I send attachments often, I've got a forwarding attachments quick text, which inserts the contact name. I want to attach the document, libraries, projects current, projects with home team consulting, wavelength, golf course project. And I want to add the home team consulting account, send, attach and send. And I can see status is unopened. Let's refresh the screen. Awesome. Terry's opened the golf course project document. Now, let's log in as Carla and see what she can do. We go to Setup, Users, and again, Salesforce platform license with a platform user profile does not have Salesforce CRM content. Log in. Logged in as Carla. Go to the app launcher. Go to Files, Libraries. So we see Carla's library. She has full permission to manage members, edit library details, or delete. But we want to look at projects current. Notice that there are no actions available because she has view permissions. We're going to go into the projects with Home Team Consulting. Here's the Methodist Project Hospital. Permissions that Carla has. We're going to open the document. We're going to create a public link. We're going to do it a different way. We could do exactly what we did the first time around. Here's another way to do it. We're going to create a public link. Copy it. Now let's send it to Terry. Go to Contacts, Terry Bella. Carla can see that George sent an email to Terry about the Waveland Golf Course project. Email. So again, we could have just gone to the library, but just to show you another way to do it, we're going to add the link. Here it is. Again, we want to relate the account. Hit send. Mission accomplished. Great. Now let's refresh the screen to see if Terry's received the document. So, good to go. Okay, so Carla was able to send the document as well. So what exactly is the functionality that Salesforce CRM Content User Feature License enables? To answer that question, we need to log out as Carla and go into Classic. So as I switch to Salesforce Classic, the key point is that multiple tabs in Classic were consolidated into the Files tab in Lightning. So in Classic, you have Content, which I'll show you the functionality and libraries in just a second. You also have Documents. Remember, that's the asset library that you have for your logos or other images. You have Files. And you have Libraries. So the additional functionality that you get, you go into Classic. Let's look at the related lists and libraries. So you can make featured content. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. You can have top content by rating, for example, or number of downloads, or number of comments. This is where you can tag documents. We have created an at-risk tab, a new tab, a pro bono tab. You can take a look at the most active contributors, recent activity. So let's just look at a document. If we open the Waveland Golf Course project, 2 upvotes. You can have downvotes. You can deliver content by looking at content deliveries. You can download the document. You can subscribe to content. So you can get emails either as changes occur or at the end of the day, a consolidated email. You can edit, archive, delete, library actions. You can feature the content. You can look at comments, versions. So Classic is where a lot of the functionality for the feature license resides. Let's go back to Lightning. Now we're going to talk about configuration. We go to Setup. And I really want to talk about 2 things: configuring the org and setting up user permissions. Let's start with the org. We're going to go to Feature Settings, Salesforce Files, and we're going to go into 3 separate locations: Salesforce CRM Content, General Settings, Content Deliveries, and Public Links. In the Salesforce CRM Content, this is where we're going to enable Salesforce CRM content. We also have the ability, but notice I disabled it, to auto-assign feature licenses to existing and new users. But because we're under a tight budget, we don't want every user to have Salesforce CRM content feature license. We'll give it to those who need it in particular. I've enabled the ability for files to be uploaded with libraries. We go to General Settings. This enables libraries and Salesforce files for people who are not Salesforce CRM content users. This is certainly something you want to check. And then for content deliveries and public links, here's where I can send those links and track whether the documents are opened or not. If I click content deliveries feature can be enabled, now I can also click public links. But before I do that, notice that I have the ability to do password protection. I can have the password protection be off, on, as a default, or required. And then public links can be enabled. This is not password protected, so no changes here. That's configuring the org. Now let's talk about users. 2 things you want to remember. For the user, you want to enable that Salesforce CRM content user. And for profiles, there's several settings that you want to pay attention to. First of all, under App Permissions, Content, you want the Manage Salesforce CRM Content. That kind of is the super user that you need. If you have this profile permission, you get 3 above. Now, for a platform license, you only have 1. manage content permissions. But you also want to go not just in app permissions, but into system permissions. This is where you're going to set permissions such as create libraries or create public links. So configuring the org and configuring the permissions are critical in order to set yourself up for success. That's the demo. What are the takeaways? Understanding Salesforce CRM content functionality. Talked about libraries, content deliveries, public link sharing. We identified key steps, enabling Salesforce CRM content, reviewing general settings, enabling content deliveries and public links, enabling email attachments and Lightning experience and setup, and then the best practices to maintain Salesforce CRM content. Most of that functionality is in Classic. And then continuously assess sharing settings to comply with evolving business requirements. That's it. Back to you, Terry.
All right. Hopefully that worked out pretty clean for everybody. Any questions? Or George, is there anything that you'd like to add to the presentation there?
If you look in the shared resources, I did attach a couple of documents for you to look at from the help. So that's another place to go. Also, even the Spring 21 implementation of Salesforce CRM, I added that document as well. And then Terry and I talked about a roadmap. I wasn't able to find anything that was definitive about when functionality that's in Classic would migrate up to Lightning experience. You just have to go back and forth. But I'm very curious. I've never really dealt with this in real life. I'm very curious about your experiences. Are people using Salesforce CRM feature licenses? And if so, what part resonates the most? Is it subscribing to content? Is it the upvotes? Or I'm very curious what your experiences are, or any questions.
I had group today.
This is the part where if you're confused, you unmute. That's the little button down the bottom left corner, and you get to ask questions.
Oh, that's funny. I've not ever used the content tool, so I have the same questions as you, George.
Either have I.
Okay.
So Terry, this is where we turn to you guys as the seasoned pros. Again, just of all the orgs that you've dealt with, what would you say the percentages of the ones who use it, and what do they use the most? I'm very curious as to real life implementation, because what I didn't know before I got this topic, it was what exactly does that CRM checkbox do exactly? And that's why I wanted to, okay, let's make somebody a platform user. So you enable libraries from permissions for the user. That's not Salesforce CRM content. So I'm very curious about the use cases that you all see.
Do you want to start, Carla? You want me to?
I could. I've got a crying baby.
Okay,
So
I'll take it first, and then if you can later, that's fine too. So I've seen people use this for training material. Could be employee handbooks, that sort of thing. I've seen it used for. It's more documentation that it doesn't require a whole lot of collaboration on. It's just sharing information and having a centralized source for everybody to be able to access it. So that's generally been the use case that I've seen. As far as the number of clients that I've seen using it, I would say it's getting smaller as time has gone on. I used to see it a lot more frequently, but it's probably been I almost would say it's been a couple of years probably since I've even seen it actively used.
yeah, I actually have not dealt with it at all. Not in any of the orgs that I've worked in.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have no experience at all with the content? It's only 3% of the exam, so it's not. I mean, you're probably going to see maybe 1-2 questions on this topic. And I want to say what what's good to know is number one, that it exists, but when to use it over other options. So you've got files out there as an option. You've got CRM content. You've got oh shoot, let me share a document that I found real quick that might be, and I'll put a link in the chat for this as well. This might be helpful. And let me make that a little bit bigger. I just realized that's going to be tiny. But I thought this document did a nice job of explaining kind of the difference between the different types of documents that are out there and their use case form. So you've got files. That's the one I think most of us are probably pretty familiar with: uploading, storing, following, sharing files. A lot of times through Chatter. There's your CRM content, publishing and storing official corporate files is the way that they've described it. Knowledge is that's your knowledge base type thing. So think help desk. The document tab, George did a nice job of explaining what that is. And I think we're probably all pretty familiar with the documents tab as well. The one thing that was new to me when George shared that video with me, I didn't realize that documents tab was exposed in the files now as one of what was called asset library. That was new.
The asset library, and it'll always be the very top library.
Yeah. I think when I've had to go there, I've always gone back to Classic because I didn't know that you could get to it that way. So that was new information for me. And then of course you've got attachments, which hopefully we are starting to shift away from. But I'll throw this in our chat window as well, just in case anyone is curious with some of that.
That's a good resource. I feel like the main thing to know really is the difference between all of those, because you could get a use case and a question would be, which is the best one to use in that use case? So it's a really good call out there.
Terry, do you want me to share the shared resources?
Yes. Yeah. If you could toss those up, I think that would be good too. The document I shared with you has, I think Salesforce has kind of caught the same theme, and they actually have this in a help file now too that I think George is looking for there.
Right. So what we have is I put 3 documents. 2 are from help, and then one is that Spring 21 implementation guide. So the first one is exactly what Terry was talking about from the help site. And you can see what is the use cases. So Carla, I think great point. If the question were to be about what is the difference between Salesforce CRM content, Salesforce knowledge, which is that deliberate, okay, we're going to publish the content. This is what we want to have our call center share with people who are calling in on the knowledge side. The documents tabs for images or attachments, which we're going away from. So that's Salesforce help docs, collaborate with everybody. That's where you're going to get a lot of good information to include Salesforce files, Salesforce CRM content. So that was one. The second one is the setup and maintain collaboration tools. That was another key resource that I used in researching this topic. And here, once again, you're going to get a lot of Salesforce CRM content, how you set it up, libraries, content settings, a lot of detail on permissions, etc. So this is a very good resource. Set up and maintain collaboration tools, and then diving down as you need. And then the third, which was a good walkthrough, was the Salesforce CRM content implementation guide for Spring 21. And then again, just kind of walking your way through. Here you can see the table of contents. So those are the 3 primary documents that I used to do the research. Back to you, Terry.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions on that topic? If not, you want to do some Q&A? We ready for that? Carla, do you want me to bring that up, or do you already have it up? I can.
I do not have it up. Sorry, I was not
I will go
prepared.
ahead and share it. Nope.
Okay, thank you.
I was assuming you may not be, so I've got it ready just in case.
Thanks, Terry.
Yep. All right. So shall we? Let's see. Do you want to read through them and go through them, or I can lead it as well, Carl? Either way, whatever.
Yeah. No, I can read them. You want to call them people? We have a quiet group. I feel like you got to call.
No, we do. Patrick, this is going to you.
Okay. Which of the following are true about dependent pick lists? Choose 3 answers. You can set default values for controlling fields, but not for dependent pick lists. Importing values into dependent pick list fields must follow the dependency rules. Checkbox fields can be controlling fields, but not dependent fields. Standard pick list fields can be controlling fields, but not dependent fields. And the controlling field can have no more than 100 values. You said Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick. And if you want to call a friend that's on the group here too, you can do that. We can share the fun.
C is 1. Ooh, I want to say A. And then let's do D. I don't know if that's right or not.
Anybody want to contend or challenge? All right. Boone says that's good. Good job. Nice. Tanner.
All right, Tanner. Visibility to records can be controlled by which of the following? Choose 2. Sharing rules, validation rules, field level security, account team, or record types. Visibility records can be controlled by which 2?
A. And then
Tricky.
D, I think.
Any challenges? I like Boone's approach of the thumbs up. If you're in agreement, that's cool. All right. Well done. We're on a roll so far. We're passing the exam. Nice. Matt, yeah.
One. Can we go back, or you can't go back?
I can't go backwards, but yeah.
So I would have, if it had said pick 3, I agreed with those 2, but record types control, I guess because it's not visibility, you're still getting access to selected fields on that record, so it's not controlling access to the record, it's controlling what you see on the record. I guess that's why that would be wrong. It was the reasoning. I'm trying to understand why the wrong ones are wrong, as well as why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So record types don't control visibility to records.
Mm-mm.
I used to think they did.
Yeah, it's a common misperception.
Yeah.
They can control the type of record you create,
Right.
Yeah.
but they do not control the visibility.
It controls the page layout, right?
Yep.
Can. Yep.
That you can select from. You can make different types of pick lists for it.
Right. But the record as a whole, I think that's the point.
Right.
Yeah, and isn't one way of thinking about that when you go look at reports, if you can see it through a report, whether it's visible or not necessarily whether it's visible on a page layout or not.
That's a great point, Boone. Because you'll see all the pick lists on the report, even the ones you can't select on the page layout. It's a great point.
Now, it's pretty common for record types to be used in sharing rules, but it's not the record type itself that's controlling the access. That in that case, it's the sharing rule. All right, Carla, you've gone quiet, so let's do number 3. Let's go to Matt on this one. Universal Containers Human Resource Department has uploaded an employee handbook to their CRM content. However, no one other than the content creators can see the handbook. What would be a possible reason?
I'm going to say D. Content has not been approved.
Okay, anyone want to challenge that one?
I'm going to challenge it, but I'm not going to say more.
Oh, come on, chicken.
Class. So
I would say B.
I think it's
B.
B.
okay,
You don't have right stomach.
that one too.
Okay.
Although I'm interested as to how we're going to come up with this. I was looking at a different one. I'm not saying that B is not the right answer, but I was looking at something else. So does anybody else have something? I'll just say what I'm looking at. I'm looking at A. Users haven't been added as members to the library. This is kind of tricky.
Yeah, A was the right answer there. Yeah, it's in that library. There's members that need to be added to a library to make it visible. So it is a little bit of a tricky question.
But I don't know why B is wrong. I would have picked A because I know that A is right.
If you go into profiles and look at the content object, there is no CRUD on that object itself. All that you can do there is display the tab or not display it.
See, I did not know that. That's excellent. But yeah, the key is A, because as I showed in the video, you can add groups or you can add individuals to that library, and you have to enable libraries. If you don't enable libraries, people don't have it also.
Yes. All right. Where did I leave off? Was that Matt? So go to Scott. Universal Containers HR department wants to have a way for employees to confidentially report inappropriate behavior. I think we've done this question once before.
Yeah.
Because of the sensitivity of these records, only the employees filing the complaint and HR are allowed to see them. As an admin, which of the following prevent an employee's manager from seeing the submitted records by their staff? And there's one right answer. And you are welcome to call a friend.
I thought it was D.
Uncheck grant access using hierarchies. Everybody in agreement or disagree?
Are we talking about a standard object or a custom object?
I am not aware of a custom object that would allow file complaints. A standard object that would allow that.
Okay,
So this would have to be custom.
Because you can disable grant access using hierarchies with custom, but not with standard.
Yep. All right. Very good. Nice job. Algie, I'll let you take this one. CloudCakes has two custom objects in a master detail relationship. The detail object was accidentally deleted and quickly restored. What would be the consequence?
I got the same question before.
Did you? All right, good. I would say this is a repeat too.
I think B, the relationship would be restored, but as a lookup field. I think that was the answer. I remember.
Okay, let's try it. You are correct. Well done. I thought I disabled all those old questions so that would just hit our current topic, but evidently I missed something there. Universal Containers is implementing, Rebecca, I'll let you take this one, is implementing territory management. The VP of Sales has created a Northern and Southern California territory. There are children to the California territory. When setting up territory assignment rules, which of the following is true? And I think through that one as well.
I would think D.
Parent territories can inherit the children.
Probably wrong.
Anybody want to challenge? Right, that one it's A. If you remember when we actually looked at this, and when you're setting up your territory, you've got the ability to define the rules. So like in this scenario, we might set up the California territory would be our parent, and so the rules there would be state equals California. When I go to set up my 2 children records, I don't need to repeat state equals California. I just need to add the zip codes or whatever makes it a northern versus a southern, because the parent already knows that I'm in California. So
Okay.
it's the children in that scenario that inherit. That's a tough one.
It seems backwards.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense to think of it backwards, because that's the way security rights are inherited up the chain, or visibility. And so it's the opposite in that particular scenario. Boone. How are we doing on time? Okay. Price books can be shared with which of the following? There's 3 right answers.
Oof. So the question is, which one of the following can price books not be shared with?
Right.
I'm going to say groups. No.
There's 3 right answers.
Yeah,
Can
so
be
there's
shared with.
2 wrong answers here. So I would say you can share it with users. I want to say users, profiles, and roles, but teams throws me for a loop, because I know you can have the opportunity teams. So I would actually switch D and E. I would say users, profiles, and teams.
Is that your final answer?
My final answer. Let's go with it.
All right. Very good.
Oh, I was wrong.
Oh,
Groups and roles.
Groups and
Really?
roles.
Help me, like George says. Why are those
Sometimes
right?
the easiest way to check those is just to go in and actually set it up. But this would be the actual help article for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't dug into price books as much. I mean, we did the training, but I haven't dug past that. So,
yeah, very good. And let's do. I see your picture, and I'm having trouble remembering your name. Trying to find where I can see our participant list. Andrew, that's what your name was. Sorry. CloudKicks would like to make their knowledge base publicly available on their customer community. What setting controls that? Let me know, Andrew, if you are not. Well, I guess let me know if you're not there. That'll work really well. I see you unmuted, so cool. Thank you. And feel free to phone a friend if you'd like. Anyone want to volunteer to help?
I know sharing sets are unique to communities, but I am very weak on communities. But if I had to guess, I would say sharing set E.
Okay. So we've got 1 for sharing sets. Anybody else want to take a stab?
I second sharing set.
Okay.
So everyone knows I do not know.
All right.
Don't let me talk you into it.
Well, we made the comment. I think when we were talking about something, talking about this one specifically, I think we made the comment that if you see a question regarding security around communities, it might just be this answer. Anybody else have a thought?
Is it D?
Allow anonymous access. Okay, we've got one for that.
I don't know if I count. I was thinking it might be A.
It's Carla. I would say A is you turn it on, but it says for publicly available to the community. That's just turning it on in general. So you do need to do A. That's why these are so tricky, but that's not going to specifically answer about being available to the customer community, which is why I went with sharing set.
All right,
So
Andrew.
A is important.
Which you got three different options there that from your friends. Which one do you want to go with? I see you're unmuted, but I do not hear you. Maybe it's me. So throw
No,
it in.
I'm not hearing him either.
All right. Let's go with the first one, and
You just put in the chat.
What did he choose?
A.
A. So he's going with Carla's choice. All right. And that is a good choice. Good choice.
Sharing sets are really around like the records themselves, accounts, contacts.
Visibility.
Yeah, record visibility. Mm-hmm. But knowledge is different.
Yes.
Thank you for the
Yep.
All right, good. That takes us. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm also going to stop recording. Well done, everybody.